So just to, again, I want to put some context into this performance because we're not just coming after the guy randomly. Oklahoma State's passing defense, 124th in the FBS this season.
Oh my gosh.
This is not a good passing defense. 19 for 49. And look, I watched the game. You guys are smarter football minds than I am, but it looked to me like he missed a lot of dudes. So from an overreaction standpoint, we crowned Quinn Ewers way too early, and we do not know what caliber of a player this kid really is. George, again, you're our quarterbacks guy. What do you think?
I'm a defer to Max. I'm gonna go second because I've been yapping a lot.
All right, I'm gonna say this is what we do. It's par for the course. We want to crown people. Heck, let's take my alma mater. We crowned Anthony Richardson in September off of some gimmick plays from the year before. I mean, that's what we do. You see, sometimes people get enamored. You see the NIL numbers. You see the snapshot, right? You don't see the full. See a snapshot. You're like, I already know what the answer is. I know what we're going with. But all these young players have to grow. They have to continually gain requisite knowledge and experience, and only playtime will dictate that. Because the same thing was, they thought a year ago in Texas A&M, Haynes King was going to be the guy. Well, we found out, no, he is not. Because you got to play. You have to show us over and over that you can shoulder that responsibility. Like George talked about earlier, right? You want to put a guy on the horse and make him the general. What if he can't ride a horse?
Right.
You want to see if he can ride the horse before you give him your best horse in the stable, right? You want to try him out on one of the little mares, one of them Shire horses, and just see if he can get up there and gallop around the fences right in the field. And that horse is not going to buck him off. That's what we're getting to, where I think people, because you saw Quinn Ewers in that snapshot against Alabama until he got injured, man, he can go toe to toe. We don't know what would have happened after 4 quarters. And now we see this performance, which I kind of blame Texas. I blame Sarkisian on this one. At what point did you forget that Bijan Robinson was in your backfield? At what point did you forget that boy was back there? Because he only touched the ball, I think, 6 times in the second half, touched 18 times in the first half. So, and they tried to make Quinn this guy, and it was like, no, stick to the recipe. Why are you freestyling right now? I told you how to make these collard greens. This is grandma's greens. They good for generations. Why are you throwing paprika in there?
Don't deviate.
Don't deviate.
Don't deviate.
Nobody wants smoked turkey wings. Put the ham hock in there.
For the record, Max, 5.8 average yards per carry for Bijan.
Greg, I thought you were going to say, for the record, was ham hocks. That was the record. I thought but go ahead. Sorry, Greg.
No, you're great. You're great, George. No, I think you hit the nail on the head though, Bijan, right? Like, I mean, he essentially is unstoppable. And they were having success in the first half. And again, this was a game Texas led for the majority of the game, including a majority of the second half. And they still went away from the run game. It was pretty baffling to me to watch play out. But George, I mean, I'm assuming you've obviously interacted with Quinn Ewers at points.
Yeah.
You've seen him up close and personal. You know the talent that is there. But what's there was a lot of hype because I hosted the show last week, right? With I think it was Trevor Knight and Christian Hackenberg, 2 esteemed quarterbacks here, beloved at the Field of 12. And all 3 of us agreed that when we're talking Big 12 hierarchy, when we're talking who's really going to end up pole position to win this thing, all 3 of us put a star next to Texas. And the reason why was just 2 words, Quinn Ewers. It was, we think he might have the ceiling that elevates them enough to emerge out of this group of good teams and become a great team by the end of the season. That didn't happen in this game. And now it's probably insurmountable for them to overcome as far as the conference standings go. But is that a Quinn Ewers problem or is that a Texas problem?
It's a Texas problem. It's a Texas problem. And I've had the fortune to be at the Elite 11 for 16 years now. And I've only been doing quarterbacks for a year before that on the field, working with them. But kids don't rate themselves. They go, they win a game, they lose a game, they play well, they don't, they hit the camp circuit, they do, they don't rate themselves. And it's easy. It was a perfect storm. South Lake Carroll in Dallas, big, prominent lavishly covered school. I think he had a couple years starting. They had a whole lot of success. He had a whole lot of help. You're driving an Army tank, and you're driving an Army tank really well in front of big crowds and big Texas football. He leaves the state to go to the Buckeyes, who at the time were number one when he committed to him. Then when he returns, it's like the prodigal son returns home to Sarkisian and to a Texas base. And let's be honest, Greg, Max, it's a Austin, Texas with their Longhorns. They hope and hope and hope and hope, and those hopes turn into expectations. Other places, hope is hope, and it's like it's measured. Let's get some steps. Hey, let's get this solidified this year, and the next year we can add. But when I cringed when I saw Texas sold 67,000 season tickets to start the season. I said, ooh, they're sipping that Kool-Aid down there already. And again, nothing wrong with coming in and supporting heavy, but you got to keep perspective. And everybody thought Quinn Ewers has a cape on. Quinn Ewers is a good quarterback. He's like a very good quarterback. He's not the best quarterback in the Big 12. He may not be top. He might be third in the Big 12, just to be all the way honest. If we're just going to be honest about it. Did he ever rank himself amongst Big 12 quarterbacks? No, but we all did. We put him nationally and all the rest of this stuff. He is who he's been. That's it. And then Texas around him. I mean, he's got all these big monster receivers. You got an all-world running back behind you. You got a big-time head coach who's been a coordinator at all levels. And, yeah, you've had some nice games, and you've had like a clunker. But I think the pressure on Sarkisian and on Quinn Ewers uniquely is Arch Manning. That's the pressure. They won't talk about it out loud. They won't say it out loud. But either way, the fans are going to be in those stands with their 67,000 season ticket holders. They'll be ready to go next year no matter what. The other 21 starters that step out there for the Longhorns next year, they'll be fired up no matter what. The pressure is on Quinn and it's on Sarkisian. They got to cover some ground. You got to get and establish yourself. You got to give me a case as the coach as to why I'm not going to throw you in a dogfight this spring. Here in a couple months, he's going to be in for the fight of his life. Because Arch Manning is coming in with a tidal wave behind him. A check down to a running back is going to be the greatest check down any quarterback has ever had at the Longhorns. If he jogs off the field from spring practice, it's going to be the greatest jog any player has ever had. Look at the hustle, the love of the game, the this and the that. So Quinn's got his wave. A tidal wave is coming. And now if he can just sustain some good performances, get some big wins, and make it known without question, this is mine. Anybody who's going to join, welcome, but grab a seat behind me. The door is wide open. He hasn't put one hand on that door. And if I'm Arch Manning, I'm like, this is great. These guys look competitive. We're in some real ball games. And the guy who's playing my position is, I know I'm going to get a dog fight. I want a dog fight. Split the reps up. Let's go see how this plays out.
It's a great point about Arch. It really is. It's like it's shiny toy syndrome, right? Like there's always a shinier toy, no matter how shiny your toy is, no matter how fun it is. But except with Arch, it's the biggest example of shiny toy syndrome ever. This is not just a regular toy. This is the toy of all toys that Texas is going to have to play with next year.
And just think of the pressure. Think about the pressure. Max, imagine this. You're on the field getting ready to battle. And the guy that's behind you that everybody has heard about since you got to Texas State, we've also heard about him. His two Hall of Fame uncles will be on the sideline, just watching practice, chilling, eating popcorn, talking to reporters. This kid will have some national commercials. He'll be the first college football player not playing to have commercials.
Yeah.
All his finances will be out there, all this, all that. And every time he does that, people are going to pass out. They're going to pass out. Your game, you have the stage right now. You got to take this on for yourself, because you want to be a better player, period. And then you're going to have to lead this team. But 30 incompletions against a team that, I mean, frankly, you said 124. There's only 125 Division I programs playing football. They're the worst in football against the pass. So, again, different type of pressure from DJ. DJ's is internal, and they're making a championship run. They're pressed to do something now. But this kid needs to press to do something right now as well, because he's under pressure. Both those guys, I mean, they're under something tremendous.
Yeah, no, I mean, Quinn Ewers got to go full Missouri on him, right? We all know what Missouri is, the show me state, right? You got to show me something. Because like you said, this is third generation NFL quarterback caliber talent that is poured into this young man that's going to be setting foot on campus in Austin, who worships football, you know, right next to Jesus. Okay. Like, this is no accident. This is nothing else. Quinn Ewers has to come out. But here's the thing. We all know about this, George and Greg. There's two things about pressure that I know. It can be applied or it can be felt. Which one are you in that situation? Because right now it's looking like you're feeling the pressure while you had to throw it 49 plus times. You knew you had an audible check in there where you can hand it off. Don't act like, oh, coach said it, I have to do that, or I'm a robot. No. You knew how you was feeling in that moment. You also know there's checkdowns, like you said, there's checkdowns in that offense. Don't go for the long bomb. You are in control. If you were feeling the pressure, I'm being more of a game manager and not this elite quarterback. Talk about that on the sidelines after you score a touchdown, right? Boring and consistent is what people want to see, because it, like you said, you just said it, it translates to wins. I would rather have a boring victory than an absolutely stunning loss, a fantastic loss, right? Absolutely. Give me that dub. And you can't sit there and do that, because Arch Manning is winning every time you make that decision that you don't feel like you're showing enough or that you're doing enough, and that you're feeling this ghost pressure on you. Now, you said he's going to be in for the fight of his life when it comes spring, because if that dude farts, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Is that fried chicken? Oh, that's my favorite. That's my favorite flavor of cologne right there. I mean, everything he does is going to be amazing. So you have to just establish yourself and make sure that you're the guy that quote unquote, that hope expectation that people hope that he will be, that he will show those moments along the way, so that at least you have a fighting chance when it comes springtime.